Hey, shalom, shalom, Israel. Having a conversation with, well, Ben Stanhope, brilliant young man. Uh, recommend everybody get his book, Misinterpreting Genesis. One of the things he brought up the other day is something I've pondered quite a bit in the past. I have a nose for ferreting out certain details in Scripture, certain breakdowns in Scripture where there really is no reconciliation. Um, and you know, no great or no what do you say? No better example of that is the the land of Israel. Okay, uh, Ben Stanhope made a statement, and he was speaking to the effect of that. Uh, it seemed to him that the central theme of the Bible uh, wasn't, going to heaven or even the Messiah was not the central theme of the Bible. I know everybody likes to quote that text. Lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written to me to do thy will, O Yah. And a lot of people read into that to mean that everything in the Bible is talking about the Messiah, talking about Jesus, and that is just not a good conclusion to come to. There is much there. Don't get me wrong, it's quite important. But because Lot committing incest with his daughters doesn't have anything to do with the Messiah. Okay? So let's just get real here. Okay? Don't need many more examples than that. Anyway, he said that the central theme of the scripture was land. I totally 100% concur with that summation. Okay? And why I concur with that is that theme is replete throughout Scripture, at least the Torah and the prophets. The very first statement, one of the very first statements in the first book of the Bible was that Cain went out and dwelt in the land of Nod. Okay? All right. Later on, uh, he said, "Get you up out of your father's house," to Abraham, "and from among your father's people, and I will take you to a land I will show you. Then later on, this land will I give to you, and your seed, or to your seed, 400 years," right? Okay. So you can go through the prophets. The central theme is the land, the land, the land. Now, when the people came out of Israel, okay, they were enumerated. There was censuses done. Men appeared before their polls, and under Yehoshua, they were allotted certain portions of the land as familial inheritances. Okay? So, as they were enumerated, they were given land. There's even an example of a judgment call on some women who felt that they should inherit their father's land. And that was rectified as well. They got their inheritance, even as women. So, but with the caveat that if they marry, then that land then becomes, uh, tribal land that is owned by the husband's tribe, whoever it may be. But anyway, um, that's the central theme. And I would say that's true. And all the way up to the exile into Babylon, that's very true. It was central theme of Scripture is land. I don't believe at this juncture, or at least since the Babylonian exile, that has been the case. And I'll say that for several reasons. And I've searched high and low, and if anyone can find one secular or biblical example of people returning from Persia under Ezra, Nehemiah, and going and recovering their familial inheritances. Let me know. I don't see it. I've looked. I really have. And maybe I haven't looked not. Maybe I'm a poor study. But it seems at that juncture that the theme of land, and what I mean by that is that Elohim is the God of the land of Israel, the land of Jacob, okay, land of Palestine, call it whatever you want. That is really technically land that belongs to him. And as his children, Israel, they were given inheritances out of that, okay, familial lands, okay. But you don't see that theme operating at the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. It seems like there's an abrupt pivot and an abrupt shift to Jerusalem and the temple being the central theme of the Bible at that point. Okay, like I said, you had Edomites, Samaritans, you have Assyrians, and all kinds of people. The only tribe that probably, at least for a time, kept their familial inheritances was the tribe of Benjamin. As you would go back and look, Benjamin as a tribe never went into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. That they had basically cut a deal with him, and they were allowed to remain. Now, that's very important because from a theological, doctrinal construct, you can see that the tribe of Benjamin would have been most influential as to how religious practice was carried out from that point forward in the land of Israel. Because when you get back, when the people came back under Ezra and Nehemiah, and it wasn't very many, it was only about 40,000 out of 201,000 Yehudi in the southern kingdom went into captivity with the Assyrians, as well as a lot of the tribes of Benjamin. So anyway, you could see how they would have been influential. And it does seem to be that they played a greater part, in the development of the religion of Judaism. Okay? You can search high and low, and every honest, straightforward Jewish rabbi will tell you that Judaism has nothing to do with a genetic bloodline. It is a religion. Okay, that's a very profound statement there. Now, about 15% of the people that are living over there today do have some type of familial bloodline relationship to the original Israelites. So, the Haredi, some of the Iranian type Jews, Eastern Jews, Yemenis. But for the most part, the vast majority and vanguard of Jews today are from the they're basically from Yafut. They are not even in they're not even in the Shemite realm, let alone the actual people of Yah. So anyway, and then there has been conversions and marriages and all of that stuff that has taken place, and it's become a big melting pot. But the amazing thing of it is it's not until you get to the book of Hasun, and it's crickets all the way from that point forward. It's crickets in the New Testament. It's crickets in the Gospels. Go and look. Check me out. All right? You don't see any mention of enumeration or numbering of the people Israel until the book of Hazun. Okay? Whatever numerations took place, they were done by the Romans back then. And we read about that in New Testament texts, but that is not the same enumeration as that of Yah. In that, Romans were occupiers, as were the Greeks and everybody else that came in there. They were instruments of Yah's punishment. So, anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make, I don't want to make this video too long, but I don't want to leave you people like, okay, whatever. So what are you trying to get at? What I'm trying to get at is this. The land that Yah promised the children of Abraham, the children of Isaac, children of Jacob, the seed, okay, that land was given to them, okay, as an inheritance. The land itself is inexorably tied to the deity, to Yahweh, to the God of Israel, and the land is by inheritance given to his children, okay? Now let's fast forward to 1948 and things like that. You go there, the return, and the right of return, and all of that, and these people are going over there, yet none of these people have received their inheritances. We want to put this out there as some fulfillment of prophecy. This right here is just lockdown, damnable evidence that it isn't so, and that these people are not the people of the book. This is just exactly what the prophecy said, that Yaphat would dwell in the tents of Shem, okay? And that's what we see today in that land. And that's because there has been no enumeration, there has been no restoration of the lands to the people. And the reason is because they don't know who they are. Nobody knows who they are. I mean, we've bandied that phrase out for 100 years. You'd think we would settle it in our mind by now. The lost tribes of Israel. And they're still lost. Okay? They're still lost. He will gather them. That is the biggest sign there is. And when he does, he will number them, and it says that in Hazun as well. And by extension, he will be restoring the lands to the tribes of Israel. Okay? And that's why everything is such a fraud. And everything is such, it's weighted, it's baited, it's slanted and twisted. And, I mean, I don't care what color they are, okay? Even if they were all black over there today, or melanated, however you want to put it, it still would not make them the fulfillment of the prophecy of the scripture as we see fit. And then I will bring them into their own land. And then every man shall sit under his fig tree. That hasn't happened. As a matter of fact, when you look at the Jewish people or the state of Israel today, people have been kicked off of their land. Supposedly, they're Jews and Israelites, supposedly. They've actually been thrown off their land that was in their family for generations. Vis-a-vis, whether it was originally theirs or not, who knows? No records, 2 destructions of temple. It's a crapshoot, all right? From our viewpoint, from our vantage point, it's a crapshoot, okay? So they've been thrown off their land in order to broker peace agreements and political maneuverings and shufflings and redistricting and reproportioning of the land while they continue to, eat it up. So they've actually dealt violence, and they've actually removed their own people's borders, which is a violation of Torah, okay? To remove your neighbor's landmark, they've removed that. And anyway, I got to go to work, probably a few minutes late. Oops. Anyway, just had to get this video out. until Yah gathers his people himself and puts them in the land, there is no fulfillment of the prophecy. And the central theme of the land will not be restored to Scripture or to the narrative or to his people. So anyway, shalom.